control her feelings and control her head, who what she thought was love left her scarred and dead. Emotionally first, he suppressed and degraded her, and she never fought back, because that's not the way her parents raised her. I can't help but think patience killed my mother, and now I'm impatient to kill my mother's lover. I'm calling out to you, but the screams never reaches. Mother, may your soul rest in peace as my heart lives in pieces. Thank you very much. I started writing at a really, really young age. I guess it was that period of time where we came to Britain and my mom wasn't there. So I just kind of wrote everything down. It kind of developed over the years. Obviously it started on like minor silly things, you know, like, I don't know. And then it started getting into a bit more deeper, eventually kind of reached politics. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, politics and religion.
Were you writing in English all that?
Yeah, I write in English. I tried doing a bit of Arabic, but it's obviously my vocab is a bit more limited in Arabic, so I kind of focus more on English now. The majority of the time, I think I just kept it secret. It was just something that I did. It wasn't like, you know, I need to show someone. But over the years, I think I started showing my friends a bit more, and the response I got from them was quite good most of the time. So that kind of motivated me to do more, write more, and over the years, I just started doing that exactly. And came a period of time where I thought maybe I should get this published somewhere, not, you know, in a book or anything, but online or anything. But I think I was kind of scared of putting it online, mainly because I was really self-conscious, and, you know, I didn't think it was good enough, and then I just kind of pushed myself and put it up. First time I just used to, because I have this thing where I'm kind of scared that if I write a poem and I put it up, it might be kind of taken out of context or something. So what I did was I worked around that, and I recorded all of them on audio, and then I put them up as a video on YouTube, so it can't ever be changed unless you edit it. So I put that up, and then I added the lyrics to it as, you know, text on my blogs and stuff. So that's how it's been going on for now. I think the beginning was more like, whenever I'm angry, I write. You know, whatever has angered me at that time, I write about it. So you can, if you read all my old stuff, which is not public, it's a bit more angry. It's a bit more like, it doesn't flow as well because it was written out of anger. I kind of used to write a lot about friendships and stuff. I guess most of the times I felt like I wasn't understood, you know, by friends or family or whatever. So the only place that I could be understood is on paper, so I wrote that. When I got to college time-ish, I think I was introduced to a bit more like of a hip-hop political kind of music scene. So through that, I kind of saw it as poetry more than music, to be honest. I was influenced a lot by, you know, people like Loki and others in the scene. So that kind of opened my eyes a bit more, because he has a lot of knowledge in his songs, and from listening to a song, I kind of knew a bit more about something, and then I'd go on to research it a bit more, and then I gained a lot of knowledge. So I thought this was the right way to kind of get your message across. So I started doing the same thing really, and hopefully it works. Political issues was probably Palestine. That was like the biggest in that time as well. And I think like the whole representation of Islam, so Islamophobia, you know, war on terror, that kind of stuff. I mean, obviously Palestine has been an issue for all of us since a very young age. You know, we've been taught about it for years and years, even before, you know, switching the TV on. But I guess the whole injustice of it, you know, the fact that it's been ignored for so long, it's been 64 years now, I think it was something that it was so obviously one-sided that I didn't understand how anyone could see any other way of it. So that's what kind of got me. To be honest, I haven't actually written a lot about Palestine. I mean, there are some stuff in my, you know, my folders or whatever that may have mentioned or something Palestine, but I don't really like write a lot about it, but it's just the fact that Palestine kind of opened my eyes to the rest of the politics of the world. So I can't say I'm a voice of Palestine because I haven't done enough to be a voice of Palestine. But it did definitely open my eyes. The Arab Spring, I guess, for everyone, not just me, but for everyone, it was kind of a new sign of hope in the will of the people. We've been constricted for so long as a people. We've had dictators for nearly all our lives, all of my life, and no one ever really spoke out against it. So every time I go to Yemen and I see pictures of Ali Abdullah Saleh everywhere, I just think, and at the same time hear all the stories of people that are talking bad of him. I just think like, well, do something. Why can't we do something about it? Are we ever going to do something about it? So when the Arab Spring came, especially for Yemen, it was a huge shock to me, and especially seeing women on the front lines of Sana'a and Aden and other places in Yemen. But as a poet, I guess it kind of fired me up a bit, I had a sudden kind of flair, and I wanted to write more, and I wanted to do more, and I wanted to be more involved, not just as a poet, not just through my poetry, but through a bit of activism, through online social media and stuff. I wanted to kind of spread the message as far and help as much as I can. So that's how it helped me. At first, it was really, really exciting, and at the same time, very overwhelming. Like, it was just a clash of emotions. Like, I didn't know what to think or what to do, what to say. Like, I remember we would be in lectures, and everyone would be, doing their studies or whatever, and me and my friend, who also is on the kind of the same, has the same interests as me, we would just be online trying to figure out what's happened next, because it was literally minute by minute updates, especially from Egypt. So when that kind of fired up, everyone is just so hyped up and excited and active, and I really like that. It showed that the community can come together and can kind of help one another. The whole situation in Yemen, as I said, really fired me up. I was so surprised because we're known to be the kind of laid-back Arabs, that we're not really political. But when I saw like millions out on the streets, demanding freedom, and something that it's not something that I ever seen in my life from Yemenis. And I mean, obviously it was a defining moment in history, and I realized that as it was going along. I didn't really realize at the beginning. And then it took nearly a whole year for Ali Abdullah Saleh to leave Yemen, and to be honest, that kind of surprised everyone. It kind of showed his kind of it showed his sly but smart moves as a politician. He was described to be the most kind of tactical in the whole spring, and he did last a very long time, surprisingly. But I don't think there ever came a moment of me kind of losing faith in the revolution. I mean, I knew that once the people were past that kind of fear, once they break that down, it's not stopping them. And as well, like too many martyrs have fallen for us to just say, okay, let's just forget it and go back to life. Like, it wasn't going to happen until he's gone. But even then, like now, I do kind of feel like desensitized by it. I'm well aware of the Western kind of influence over Yemen, especially. So I don't think there will be change, not the change that we want to see anyway. I mean, Tawakkul Karman, who won the Nobel Peace Prize. She was the first Yemeni Arab woman, Muslim, to win the Nobel Peace Prize. That was something that kind of got me really emotional, and everyone around me. Like, that day in Yemen was kind of like Eid, and it was nice to see that the image of female Yemeni women was demolished completely by that one face. But over the few months, she's been kind of she's been working closely with the US, and that's kind of I've lost a bit of hope in her, because I know when the West gets close to someone, they're kind of grooming them for further political kind of interests and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if in a few years' time she would be the next president, and I wouldn't really support that, you know, because of her relationship with the US. Politics has, over the past year, you know, and I'm not just saying this from, you know, the politics I've been reading on, but also the religion I've been reading on. It's all kind of come together for me, and everything just kind of fell into place, and everything is a bit more clear to me now. So I've kind of been reading up on a lot of history, both Islamic and, you know, political history, you know, US kind of coups and stuff that's happened over the past years, and I've seen a similar kind of pattern. So I'm now at a stage where I of course support freedom and revolution and stuff, and now, but I still know that it won't happen in this way, and I'm well aware of, you know, the tactics that are being used by Western powers in the region, and I know they're interested in the region as well. So I kind of try to challenge the political kind of mindset of people, or the media, I should say. Like, I have this very strong opinion on the media and its partiality and stuff. So everything I write kind of comes back to the media. So, for example, I have a poem called Mr. BMP, which kind of, you know, we were introduced as Muslims through the media. You know, no one actually really came up to us and talked and stuff, but the destruction of the Muslims came through the media and the lens. So obviously that's what people like the BNP and the EDL see of us. They don't know us in, you know, face to face by nature personally. So I have a poem that's called Mr. BNP, and it kind of challenges their ideologies and policies against Muslims. And that's been, I think, one of my favorite ones. I have a few things to say. Did you know that Brits live on my land to this day? 1832, that's when they first entered and occupied my land. That's when they first took over and colonized Yemen. They were born there. They grew up and lived for 132 years, and you ask me, Mr. Smith, you ask me what right I have being here. See, I don't understand. All the money I earn goes back into your hands, your pocket. They call it tax, but it's just theft made legal. It's shocking. Why do you hate me? Why do you try provoke me? Is it the hijab on my head, the jilbab I wear, or the scarf around my neck? Is it my father's facial hair? It is, innit? That's why you all stare. You're scared. I'll tell you what, I'll wear my hijab. I'll risk it. Because regardless, I'm more British than your tea and biscuits. See, I didn't steal your job, Mr. BMP. Your job looked at you and it came to me. See, I went to school and I got an education. In fact, my main goal in life has always been elevation. I mean, come on, my uncles don't run every company in the city. I got the job based on the content of my CV. You want us out? Okay, excuse me please, while I take our kebab shops, curry houses, shisha cafes, and Mediterranean cuisines. You say we broke Britain? Actually, we gave it structure. If anything, you should thank me for giving Britain a culture. However, I guess we have one thing in common. I too strongly condemn attacks and bombings. I too fear for my life when I get on a train, and when I heard of 9/11, I too felt pain. You may think I'm your enemy, Mr. BMP, but I suggest you look in the mirror before you judge me. So, like, it's a bit awkward in life, you know? Doesn't it? I'm sick. I've always been surrounded by Shias or Shia Islam, but I never really gave it enough focus or attention to look into it. You know, I wasn't really interested in it, to be honest. I just saw them as another type of Muslims with, you know, similar beliefs. Obviously, I did hear of some, you know, supposed beliefs of the Shia or ideologies that come from people who don't really know much about religion. But I guess I just came through it out of research more than anything. I was never forced to pick up any of the beliefs. It was never forced down me by, you know, my friends who were mostly Shia. They never kind of took me to the side and said, you know, any condescending comments or, sister, you're misguided or any of this kind of stuff. And that was something that attracted me towards it. I think it was reverse psychology that worked with me.